Friends and viewers, The Agony and the Ecstasy, the novel by Irving Stone. So, this is a very famous novel, and a movie was also based on this, was made, The Agony and Ecstasy. The Agony and Ecstasy depicts the life of Michelangelo's struggle to become the embodiment of Renaissance humanism. In the course of the novel, Michelangelo must overcome the interference of his family, religious dogma, political intrigue, papal patronage, military campaign, and artistic jealousy to realize his artistic ambition. Despite his father's opposition, 12-year-old Michelangelo becomes an apprentice, first to the painter Ghirlandaio and then to Bertoldo, a sculptor who directs a school financed by Lorenzo de Medici, patron of Florentine art. Michelangelo quickly wins Lorenzo's esteem, meets his children, among them two future popes, Giulio and Giovanni, and Contessina, his first love, suffers the first of several attacks by jealous colleagues. His nose is broken by Trigiani, who later appearances always threaten Michelangelo, and through forbidden dissection learns anatomy and physiology he needs. Eventually, Savonarola, a reforming priest, comes to power, and his crusading zeal threatens Lorenzo de Medici family and the Florentine art world. When Savonarola gains political as religious control, Michelangelo flees Florence and travels to Bologna, where he meets the sensuous Clarissa Safi and carves the bambino that attracts the attention of the Liu Baglioni. In Rome, for the first time, Michelangelo meets Jacopo Galli, a banker who commissioned a sculpture, Giuliano Sangiali, an architect, and a Bramante, another architect and an adversary. In Rome, Michelangelo carves the Pieta, learns about the whims of religious patron, and became interested in St. Peter's. The building of this new St. Peter's will embroil him in controversy and ultimately consume his last year. Michelangelo returned to Florence, where he carves the giant, the sculpture of David, which becomes a symbol of Florence. There he meets Leonardo da Vinci, his principal rival, and Raphael, the painter. The three become the triumvirate of Renaissance Italian art. Jealous of Leonardo, Michelangelo competes with him as the two artists paint frescoes for the rulers of Florence. Word of Michelangelo's work reaches Pope Julius, who forces Michelangelo to work in bronze rather than in his beloved marble, and to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It is Julius who resolved to build a new St. Peter's. Julius is followed by two Medici Pope who only add to Michelangelo's problem. Giovanni, by forcing him to work with marble from Pietranosta, an almost inaccessible region, thereby making Michelangelo an engineer, and Giulio, against whose forces Michelangelo must use his engineering talent to fortify the city of Florence. The Medici popes are followed by Pope Paul III, who commissioned Michelangelo to paint the Last Judgment, and who, after bitter dispute about the ongoing building of St. Peter's, appoint him as the architect for the cathedral. The Doom, Michelangelo's last creation, is the appropriate capstone for a creative effort. In addition to achieving artistic acclaim, he finds an assistant, Tommaso di Cavieralo, who is to complete St. Peter's and Vittori's Colonna, the female epitome of Renaissance humanism and the last great love. So, the characters of, while we read in this novel, The Agony and Ecstasy, the character, the stone present Michelangelo as idealized Renaissance humanist, the artist whose commitment to his work becomes a religion and whose creative efforts are no less than godlike. In fact, his commitment to art is such that it alienates him from society, makes him a misunderstood recluse, and becoming the outlet of his passion prevents him from finding love. Because art becomes a religion, art cannot be commercialized. The artist is not a businessman, overly generous to his parasitic family and deaf to the warning of his banker agent Gali. He lives in relative poverty. Unlike Leonardo and Raphael, also, unlike them, he works alone, refusing to compromise his work by using, even in the Sistine Chapel, other painters. Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael, despite their stature, exist in Stone's novel primary as foils, artists whose deficiencies help define Michelangelo's greatness. Other characters serve to demonstrate the plight of the artist whose superior work is often prey to the jealousy of less talented colleagues. Trigiani breaks Michelangelo's nose, itself part of work of art, as Stone carefully points out in the first paragraph of the novel. So, despite the obstacle posed by such critics, Michelangelo succeeds because of his own talent, which is shaped by his mentors, Ghirlandaio, who instruct him in painting, Bertoldo, who instruct him in sculpture, De Medici to Magnifico, whose Platonic academic instruct him in poetry, and the blending of classical and Christian culture that characterize his work. Even after his death, Lorenzo ideas and influence inform Michelangelo's art. The women in the novel serve primarily as symbols that ultimately are related to Michelangelo's work. Contessina, Lorenzo's daughter, is inaccessible because of her exalted position and purity. Michelangelo is bound to her aesthetically, spiritually, and mystically. Clarissa Safi, a fictional rather than historical character, represents the emotional and physical side of love, and she is accessible. According to Michelangelo, she is the female form already carved and is the incarnation of love in its ultimate female form. So, the themes and the meaning of this agony and ecstasy, Stone used Michelangelo's working definition of idealized artist, a creation who is simultaneously God-like creator. Early in the novel, Michelangelo referred to God as the first sculptor and as the supreme carver. Later, he referred to artist as the species apart who will speak for God. To draw is to be like God, assert Michelangelo, who claims elsewhere the sculpture is my faith. As he gazes at his Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo recalls Genesis and stone as him in analogous term. See all that he has made, find it very good. This extraordinary analogy is extended when Michelangelo sees himself not only God the Father, but as the God the Mentor, source of noble breed, half man, half God, as the God Mother is inseminate himself with his creative reality. Stone thus incorporates sexuality within religiosity and provides his reader with new metaphor involving the equation of sex with sculpture. In its coarsest term, the relationship is described by BP. What do you point to the ladies at night? So this novel by Irving Stone, the Agony and Ecstasy is a marvelous, it is a masterpiece of Irving Stone, which addresses the incompatibility of art and business. During most of his life, Michelangelo is totally dependent on the patronage of wealthy, especially the papacy, and their whims and eccentricities prevent him from expressing himself in his beloved marvel. Although a creative god in theory, the artist is, as Michelangelo ruefully acknowledged, a hireling below a tradesman in status. So, ladies and gentlemen, Agony in Ecstasy, perhaps Stone's most acclaimed novel, is a worthy successor to Lust for Life in 1934, his first venture into the artistic world, and the two novels contain many of the same themes. Stone other novels are concerned for the most part political figure as diverse as Eugene. So in this genre, the biological novel, Stone has no American equal in quality and quantity, though Andre Muris is worthy foreign rival. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and viewer, the agony and the ecstasy is the best novel of its time. It depicts the life of a great artist, Michelangelo, and how he was forced by the Pope uh, to paint the Sistine Chapel, and how he had expressed himself and became immortal uh, in his art and in his sculpture and in his painting. Thank you very much.